got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, feel that. Raise your hands up, raise them up.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Forex Trading Asia Daily Currency Call. This is episode 327. It's the 6th of July here, 11 a.m. in Singapore, GMT plus 8. All right, so if it's your first time here, a big welcome. We do this currency call every Monday to Friday, and the currency we analyze the schedule is as follows. So Monday we do the Aussie and Kiwi, Tuesday Euro, Wednesday Pound, Thursday Yen and Gold, Friday Canadian Dollar and those currencies. So make sure you join us every day for the different currencies analyzed. Yeah, so this is the currency call where you will get market economic updates, key support resistance levels, trade ideas, and more. This currency call is going to be very beneficial to both the long-term investors and short-term traders. Here we will be going through what will move prices, possible trade ideas, and also highlighting potential targets and risk. So a disclaimer here, any information shared during this session is not intended to be a trade recommendation. Solely the opinion and views of the speaker. So please remember to do your own analysis prior to entering any trades. All right, so I think the big news item we have for this week, in fact, since last week, the item in focus is the OPEC Plus meeting that, as we know, did not come to a conclusion. So let's hear from Kim Hong, currency analyst and LCMS traders, on his views about the latest development on that. Kim Hong.
All right, thank you, Junwei. Yep. So there wasn't any conclusion from yesterday. In fact, the OPEC Plus meeting was actually cancelled. Okay, so right now, it's quite a tense situation in OPEC Plus. Okay, so as usual, they could not actually figure out a solution. They could not resolve the whole issue of UAE wanting to increase their production line. Okay, so that actually led to further strengthening of oil prices. Okay, as to when the next meeting will be held, they have yet to decide on it yet. Okay, so probably they may actually let us know in the near future, definitely. Okay, so what's the conclusion? You guys might maybe wondering, so now that it's cancelled, what's going to happen? Well, judging from the way the OPEC Plus members work on the previous meetings and the previous issues that they have, it is also possible that they may revive this meeting. Okay, it's a bit of a, I know it's a bit of a what to expect. Nobody knows what to expect, to be honest, from the OPEC Plus. Okay, so as of right now, meeting is cancelled. Okay, OPEC Plus. Okay, that means OPEC Plus will actually be continuing the production quota of oil at the current levels, okay? Which is why you see a strengthening in oil prices yesterday, okay? Now, what this actually translates to is that the Canadian dollar, we can actually expect a temporary short-term strengthening in the Canadian dollar, okay? So if you look at dollar CAD or CAD yen, you will see that there's an obvious strengthening in the Canadian dollar yesterday. Okay, so with that said, that is not, I would say, if you guys are trading any Canadian dollar pairs, just try to keep your trades short term, because you never know what happened. Later on in the afternoon or maybe tomorrow morning, you may actually hear something from the OPEC again, saying that the UAE may decide to, I don't know, give in and things like that, or maybe they revive the talk and things like that. All right, but as of now, everything is very tense. Oil prices is going up because the market was actually expecting the OPEC Plus to increase oil production quota. Okay, which will actually lead to an increase in supply, therefore a decrease in the price of oil. But now that it's not happening, everything remains status quo. Oil prices starts climbing up. Okay, yeah. With that, any time when there's any updates and things like that, I will update you guys on the currency call. And just a reminder, there will be the RBA monetary policy decision later at 12:30 GMT plus 8. Okay, a press conference will also be held at 1400 hours, okay, GMT plus 8. So just pay attention to the RBA meeting for now. All right, with that, I'll hand it back to Junwei.
Yeah, Kim Hong, give me a minute. So we have a question here in the chat by Jin. So yeah, do you think that because of this uncertainty, WTI will continue its climb and reach 100?
Personally, I feel that it's unlikely. 100 is, okay, look, oil prices has become a very tense thing for the whole world, okay? In terms specifically, the oil inflation has actually caused too much of an issue around the world. Now, no doubt, I personally will feel that oil prices will continue to climb, but at the moment, I think it's okay. Let me check what's the price for oil right now. So at the moment, okay, I'm looking at crude oil, right? Crude oil is actually trading at $76 per barrel right now. 100 is a bit far-fetched, if you ask me. Okay, if you're referring to Bitcoin, yes, possible. Like the 50,000 skyrocket, 100,000 skyrocket is possible. Okay, but oil, remember, oil is something that the whole world needs. For planes, for vehicles, even for cooking. Okay, now if you say that the big players of the world were to allow oil prices to go to 100, and then inviting issues from the US, the big countries, UK, the European Union, to actually pressure them on, lowering the oil prices through the increase of oil production. The OPEC Plus is not going to raise this thing. Okay, there has, I think the Saudi energy minister was being interviewed like recently, I think just yesterday or something. Okay, and yeah, the question was actually posed to him like, will oil prices be, will you guys actually let oil prices climb to like 100 or even higher, things like that. Of course, his reply is no, definitely for sure. But yeah, if the climb of oil prices will actually benefit the OPEC Plus, because that's where they generate their main revenue, right, for the country. But this will impact the whole world. So it is highly unlikely that oil prices will be, will skyrocket to like 100 and even above. We may be actually seeing something like an 80, okay? But I would say 80-ish will be like the cap. That's my personal view, because there's too much at hand to actually allow oil price to skyrocket to like 100, 200, skyrocket like Bitcoin. Okay, yeah, that's what I feel for now.
Okay, thanks for that, Kim Hong. Yep. So just a reminder, guys, this is the opinion and views of Kim Hong. So don't go and buy Bitcoin at 50K and expect it to be 100K at any moment. Okay. So yeah, disclaimer on that. All right. So now let's have Scott here. Scott, we'll hit to the charts for the dollar index. Scott Andrews from Forex Briefcase Australia. Scott.
All right. Thank you, and thanks, Kim Hong, as well. And I think that was I've heard that number being thrown around a little bit for oil. So that was a very good question, and I think that's fair. That's a fair answer. But look, guys, in regards to the US dollar, and like we mentioned yesterday, it was obviously a public holiday in the US. So we did see the US dollar come down a little bit. But really what the focus still is on is whether or not the pullback is going to break through this support level. The 92 low is a decent level of support that has proven itself before. But, I've got the daily chart up here just to provide a little bit of context. And, looking at it, you would say that it's, if you are a reversal trade, you'd be like, well, this is looking pretty tempting. But then you marry it up with the fundamentals as well, like we've mentioned, and it's conflicting for the US dollar to sort of come quite low, and the next level would be the 91.30. There's 91.40 support as well, but you'd have to sort of stack it all up and say that's a difficult thing you'd think for the US dollar to do. So my thought process is there aren't huge news out for this week, and it might be a situation where it's just range bound until a significant catalyst comes into play. Now, I'll just quickly bring just what I'm sort of looking at news-wise as well for the US dollar. Just bring the Forex Trading Asia news out now. So with the economic calendar here, Again, obviously yesterday was pretty muted, although we saw a little bit of a push higher and then it pulled back, which was interesting, but it still looks like there's some strength there. Now, focus will be 10 o'clock tonight, GMT +8, ISM non-manufacturing PMIs, 63.5. So let's just see what it wants to do. But I mean, once equities open, we'll get an idea of risk sentiment. The US has been moving really, really high recently, all-time highs everywhere. So Aussie equities today have been pretty flat, obviously with the RBA decision. So in conclusion, we're just going to have to wait and sit on our hands for now and just see how far the pullback wants to be. But long is probably your friend right now with the context of the fundamentals as well here, guys.
Okay, thanks for that, Scott. Okay, yeah, so today is Tuesday. The currency in focus is Euro. So I'm going to get Jin Dao Tai here, founder of LCMS Traders, a multi-million-dollar trader, trading account with more than US $15 million on a daily basis. All right, Jin, pass it to you for the currency in focus.
All right, thanks for that, Janeway. So I like how Scott almost ended with that key line, sit on your hands and wait, let's see what happens. Why I say that is because several reasons. Euro dollar, the focus today is one of retail traders' most favorite pair to trade. It has been, someone has done the math, done the calculations. This is the most traded pair. Most retail traders start off and trade this and try and make the most trades out of the euro dollar because of the volatility. But let me just share with you here the chart. Euro dollar on the H4 time frame here, you can see that for the past couple of weeks, I'll zoom out one. For the past couple of weeks, it's just been sitting across, had that big drop, set across a little bit, dropped, and at this point right now, pretty much sitting across for the past couple of days. And if you actually look a bit further back, since last week at about the end of June. So what this means is the euro dollar really hasn't done that much. It's been sitting at this 1.18 level for several days already. And that actually coincides with what Scott was just sharing, the dollar index. We've seen that upward move a little bit, but we do think that there might be some retracements. But in the overall scheme of things, it's really been a bit of a counter trend. It's been sitting right across. Why I would say, especially for the euro dollar, sit on your hands, don't do anything for this week. I'm not even looking at the euro dollar for this week, is because if you look at the news here, forextradingasia.com, looking at the economic calendar, looking at the news, today being Tuesday, we have here, we've had some ECB members speaking, didn't do too much. We have the RBA coming out, we spoke about that yesterday already. You can see that in terms of the Euro news, German factory orders, doesn't change prices too much. I don't even know what this market construction PMI is, don't focus on that. We've got a pound news, which, it's not going to change too much. And some German sentiment, but we see a bit of a drop. Okay, German economic sentiment possibly going from 79.8 to a 75.2. So what you could actually see here, if it does come out in the Eurozone, the German economic sentiment number does come out at about 75, then we expect some weakness in the euro dollar. But we also expect that retracement of the dollar index. So all that put together, we're possibly going to see the euro dollar sit in that horizontal fashion for the rest of the day. Following on from that, we have some US news, but we don't anticipate big number economic data changes at this point. On Wednesday, you can see, just a quick glance, you'll see that there's only one euro news, which is the economic forecast. Doesn't change prices in the short to medium term too much. And then not a lot of US news either. Following on from that, FOMC, as I said yesterday, there was no surprises coming from the FOMC in the last meeting. So this meeting minutes, probably not anticipating big surprises here or big price movements here. And then in terms of the euro, we are only followed with the policy statement at this point. I'm not sure why there's no press conference. I'm sure there's a press conference, but it's probably not going to surprise markets. They're going to come out, most likely going to come out and say, we're going to sit, we're going to wait, we're going to see what happens. I think the Eurozone in general at this point seems to be relatively happy. We've got the Euro Cup happening, everyone's gathering, things seems to be opening up. So I think it's in a testing phase right now where they are slowly opening up the economy, trying to live with COVID and see what happens. So I don't anticipate that we'll see much action from the ECB. Following from that on Friday, you can see we got the pound, which I'll tell you more about tomorrow. And then we've got Lagarde speaking on Friday. I don't think this is a policy news, so not a big price mover at this point. So you can see it is not likely to be a big activity week coming up for the euro dollar, especially with it sitting at this 1.18 level now. Will it climb up? Would it climb up significantly, breaching that 1.19 and possibly towards 1.2? I think that although anything is possible in the markets, it is a very unlikely scenario. And also, if it does climb up, if it does go up towards 1.19 and breach 1.19 towards 1.2, this would be a significantly counter trend trade. So I would avoid taking any buying positions at this point. On the other hand, what I would actually be looking for is to see what happens at about 1.1920. Is it going to reject? If it does reject, I could look for selling opportunities back down towards 1.1781. This could be selling opportunities below 1.1887, a 40 pips stop loss for a 90, 80 pip, 100 pip take profit level. You can see that if it does reject that 1.1920 level, despite a trade opportunity being present, it's not one of the best trades that you want to jump into. It might come towards 1.17, but it could also stop way before that at 1.18. So this, my best advice is don't try and squeeze out trades on the euro dollar at this point. There's a lot of other different currency pairs to be looking at. I think, give the euro dollar a rest. Look at the Aussie, look at the CAD after Kim Hong was sharing about how oil prices are likely to be going to be a bit more volatile at this point. So give the euro dollar a rest. But what you could be looking at is the euro pound, right? You could be looking at the euro pound. Given that we're going to give euro dollar a rest, looking at the euro pound, it's rejected that 8580 level, looking like it's going to track lower. At this point, it needs to break below 8540 before we're going to see any further downside move. I wouldn't trade right now. There's about 15 pip away. Let it close below that 8540 before we could see further downside. This will be a very crucial level because we saw it bounce off 2 weeks ago. We saw it bounce off 3 weeks ago. If I zoomed out, we can probably see it. We probably will see it react quite strongly way back in March as well. We saw it bounce off that point even way back in early March. So this is a level that you want to pay attention to. If it does break below, you could be looking for that easy trade, very short-term trade. I wouldn't do it on H4 time frame. Look at it on H1, 35 pip downward move, but it needs to break below 8540. So not a lot to do, not a lot to recommend, especially on the euro dollar. I would say this week, give it a rest. Look at all the other currency pairs.
All right, thanks for that, Jin. Okay, so just a reminder again, any information shared during this session is not intended to be a trade recommendation. It is solely the opinion and views of the speakers. Please remember to do your own analysis prior to entering any trades. All right, so Daniel, I understand that yesterday night, Traders Club had the mentoring session. Do you have any trade ideas that you would like to share? Daniel.
Okay, Jinwei, thank you very much. Yes, indeed. Yesterday night, evening at 8 p.m., we had a group, LCMS Traders Club had a group coaching sessions together, where we actually looked at the current market conditions, what happened last week, any questions from the members here, again, asking about what happened at NFP. We had a very nice discussion there, and then how we identify trades and literally make profits together, right? So now what we did, okay, yesterday, we really looked at NFP really happened, weakened the US dollar, and what is, yesterday morning, Scott mentioned about US index coming in, and we look at what's the coming news, looking at it, and form the trades. Now, what we did was, let me share my chart here. Maybe let me share. We actually shared a couple of trade ideas yesterday, but a few of the trade idea was that we have to wait for the Euro Aussie USD because of the RBA news today at 12:30. But however, we were looking at this price here, a little bit of a rising wedge here, but not really looking at to buy, although it really had broken up rate, because not much for example, I just give you an example why we were not looking for a buy trade, not much movements. We'll probably have to do a quick trade and maybe high risk as well. Now we probably look at Aussie USD, perhaps no news coming in, then we will probably look for a downward trend, continuation of a downward trend, and we look for a sell target below for example 0.7510 and coming in. But nevertheless, the news is this sell trade idea, it is supposed to be after the RBA news. The other news we have is the US yen. We look at following the trend, looking at very nice what happened last week here, and although yes, it's impacted by the NFP news coming in. However, look, this resistance turn support seems to be very strong coming in, and then we'll think that it will be supported and possibly pushing up for the later part of the week. And with that, we'll look for a buy trade at 111.2. Anything close above that, we could probably be looking for a possible buy trade. And we have done many more as well, like Euro USD coming in. I'll skip that. And then for US CAD as well, probably looking at it like what Kim Hong has mentioned, we'll probably wait and looking at it. I was not looking at very optimistic. We'll have to wait for it to happen, where the US and the CAD oil our prices are coming in. Most likely, we think it's going to move across. And if there's finally oil prices continue to strengthen, then or from deal from OPEC, and of course, the most important is there is an employment on Friday, an employment change coming, quite a crucial data coming from Friday. Watch out for that in the morning on Friday. We'll talk about more on that Canadian dollar and that. But with that, if possible, with a good forecast coming in, we could look for possible strength coming for Canadian dollar. So US CAD, we could probably look for a sell below 1.2340 and moving downwards towards the 1.2287. So a lot of this will discuss a firm idea, helping the members prepare for the week, what kind of setups are positioning based on the news, fundamental news, and then based on technicality, what should we be looking for, what price, and we'll continue to monitor as well. Okay, so how do you might wondering how do you join this group coaching sessions? It's very simple. All you need to do is just join the club, right? Join the club. The club is at the tradersclub.lcms.co.sg. It can, looking at this here, all you got to do is goes all the way down, and you just click here. Many more benefits. Not only that, we have lots of other benefits. You can go in and take a look. But just most importantly, join us for the Monday group coaching sessions and the Wednesdays evening live trading where we trade together. Okay, talk about that more later. Click this button, USD $49 a month here. Sign up, and I'll see you again every Monday and Wednesdays evening for the coaching sessions as well. Okay, see you then.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Yeah, so I pasted the link in the chat, so check out the website find out more features that Traders Club offers. All right, so we have come to the end of the session. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the pound analysis. Thank you so much. Bye.